She was terrified.
Erica Pillsbury remembers every detail from the morning of October 12, 2020.
She was 19 years old. She was a baby.
Her daughter, Mercedes Vega, had been robbed at gunpoint. And this is the first time Pillsbury is publicly talking about the violent crime.
How did you find out about what had happened?
About 5 o'clock in the morning, and I got a call, and it was from an officer.
According to a Phoenix police report and court records, just before 5 a.m., Mercedes was on her way home from the gentleman's club where she worked. After she pulled into the parking lot of her apartment near 16th Street in Thomas, she got out of the car. And that's when a man wearing a mask and gloves pointed a gun at her, demanding she give him her phone, keys, and her bag containing money. Fearing for her life, Mercedes complied. He demanded her phone's password, and Mercedes' mom says she was then shoved to the ground while the suspect pointed a gun in her face.
She had gravel in her back, and I was trying to pick it out and put hydrogen peroxide on it.
Mercedes' friends remember the impact the attack had on her. She never returned to that apartment complex, immediately moving out, carefully choosing a new apartment in Tempe she felt was safer.
I remember she was just scared. That was just the only way. She was trying to kind of start over in a different way, do different things than what she was doing, because I felt like she tried to take it as a lesson learned.
She was definitely like, yo, we need to make sure we're protected and we're very aware of our surroundings, and like especially just fellow dancers.
A month later, a fellow dancer at the same club Mercedes worked at was targeted. Newly obtained documents from Scottsdale police show at 3:45 a.m. a man was seen on surveillance footage walking through an apartment complex parking garage wearing a hooded sweatshirt and gloves. And as soon as the woman got out of her car, the suspect approached her at gunpoint, taking off running when a passerby arrived.
It was interrupted. And fortunately, nothing was taken, and she wasn't assaulted.
As investigators worked to solve the cases, Mercedes noticed activity on her cash apps. A person was trying to transfer money out of her account and into his. After police tracked down that person's account and learned the suspect's vehicle information, they were led to Cujo Young, pictured here in his University of North Texas football uniform. Mercedes identified him in a photo lineup, and Young was charged with armed robbery and attempt to commit armed robbery.
Mercedes was a brilliant person and very observant.
Following Young's arrest, he posted his bail, $30,000 in Mercedes' case and $15,000 in the Scottsdale case.
This is a horrible situation that my daughter went through, not only once, but again when she was murdered.
Mercedes would never get to see justice. As she and her family awaited trial, she was murdered. The night of April 16, 2023, Mercedes was last seen walking to her car in the parking garage of her Tempe apartment complex, the apartment she moved to after she was robbed. Hours later, her body was found burning inside of a car on the side of the I-10 freeway near Tonopah. A medical examiner's report revealed she had been tortured. Blunt force injuries, a gunshot wound, and bleach was found in her throat. Her gruesome death, being investigated by the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office, remains unsolved to this day.
Someone took her life in the most heinous of ways.
Cujo Young was out on bond at the time of Mercedes' death, and court records show he may have had an ankle monitor. The I-Team asked whether MCSO has investigated potential links between the robberies and the homicide investigation and about the ankle monitor. A spokesperson says they, quote, will not comment on this or any other possible connects at this point. In a May 2023 hearing,
the victim in one of the cases died about a week ago of something presumably unrelated.
Young's attorney asked to withdraw from his case, delaying his trial for armed robbery.
The situation, the ethics question that I'm dealing with and wrestling with, and I was instructed by my ethics counsel that I have a mandatory a duty to withdraw.
And in November of 2023, he was arrested in a Tempe police narcotics operation, accused of facilitating a large-scale drug transaction involving around 40,000 pills containing fentanyl. 11 other defendants have been charged in the case, and while some have been offered plea deals, Young has not. He's been held without bail ever since.
I'm very grateful that he's sitting with no bond.
Young was supposed to go to trial for the 2 armed robbery cases this week, but in a new development, after changing attorneys again, it's now been pushed to October.
We all just miss her so much.
Mercedes is no longer here to aid in his prosecution.
In honor of my daughter, I will be there every single day in court.
Wow. I don't even know where to begin, but first of all, do we know if there were any other victims?
It's a good question. So we've learned that actually about a year before Mercedes and the Scottsdale woman were robbed, a third dancer at the same gentleman's club had the same thing happen to her. She called police after a man wearing a ski mask pointed a gun at her and took her bag of money. Despite alerting police right away, a suspect was never identified in that case. But this week, Scottsdale police said the violent crimes unit there is now reviewing that case to see if it's connected.
All right, Bianca, thank you so much. We know you'll continue to follow every detail of this story. Thanks so much.
Tonight, there are new developments